Ali. She is also a special educator. She has done her master's in special education in hearing impairment. She's been in this field for more than 15 years. And trust me, when she says that she's a passionate, she's passionate about her work and loves to empower students. Trust me, friends, I have seen that personally happen. She can actually transform life. She has a magic touch and it makes a huge difference on the children. Many of her students, because she's been doing it for the past 15 years, the students that she started as babies are now grown up adults and they are doing excellent, I would say. Excellent. So here I let Dipali take lead of it. Dipali, please go ahead. Welcome to the webinar, Dipali, and thank you for being here.
So good evening, all the parents. What is this webinar for? See, it is for all you parents. Why are we doing it for parents? Because parents are the teachers, the guides, the leaders, the protectors, and providers to their children. As we know, parents are all in one. They play all in one role for their child. They are very important. So here we are there to empower you. How much knowledge and experience we have so far. So we would like to share with you. As you know, I am more passionate about the area of language development. I have worked so many years in this area. So I think I would like to throw some light on the area of language development today. So next slide, please. So as we know, many of you must be already with the diagnosis of the children or the child with autism spectrum disorder. So okay, still, no, the few of the parents who have just noticed or just observed the red flags. So what are they supposed to do in the next few days or few months? What I can say. So first of all, always observe the red flags. Read about it more, ask questions to the people around you whom you think they can help you out. Okay, and then later take your own sweet time, accept that there is some area which you are going to work upon for your child, and your child is going to be needing assistance. So take time, accept that. Once you accept, the further journey will be much easier. So then reach out for help. Don't isolate. Some of the parents, what I have seen, they are not able to digest or not able to accept. They just isolate, and again, as Sarika has explained, that early intervention period, which is so very important, we miss out on that period. So please don't isolate and reach out for the help. So now, after you have found out all the supports services available in your locality. Of course, we are not going to leave our locality and go to some other places. So what are we going to do is we have to find out what are the services, facilities available in our reach. Of course, you will have to think about its cost, its feasibility, and you can talk to the physician or the pediatrician and find out exactly at this age what all are the therapies my child is going to need at the initial step. So choose the people, the professionals, the therapies wisely. And later, uh, involving family is such an important step. We should never miss out this, because of course only the professional, they are not going to do the whole changes by themselves. They would need the support of the parents and the family members. And as we know, most of the children learn most of the language structures in their family. Family is the first school, as we say. So involving family members is very important. I think we have come out of the slideshow, Sarika. Okay, yeah, thank you. And then later, after going through all these steps, where you reach is you prepare for early intervention. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, now suppose we take an example of a growing child. Okay, so you can just type in the chat box, or you can unmute and tell me. I want you to know if a child is 6 month old And later, now how will he directly start walking, or he would go through some steps or stages of development first? Before walking, what do you think? What will he do first? If I can
The baby
expect
will
some
try to
answers.
crawl,
Yes, crawl. Very good. Yeah, right. And
crawling and creeping.
before that, yeah, crawling, creeping, and
Yes,
before that, he would, be able to sit himself.
yes,
So, yeah, so 6-month-old child, and later when he grows, suppose his motor milestones are delayed by any chance, still we would not expect him to get up and start walking, right? First, we would want him to sit independently, we would want him to crawl, and then we would expect him to walk independently. So that is the same case with the language development. So before you want to start on any area, no, be it language development or reading or writing or spelling. So what you should know first is all the stages of development or the milestones. Once you know it, you will be able to execute it better. So overall, all the language areas, if we see, no, always there is first the comprehension and then the expression comes. Unless, suppose I tell you, casco, use casco word in a sentence. How many of you would be able to make the sentence with the word casco? And if not, why you won't be able to make it? Can you tell me?
Because we don't understand the meaning of casco.
Yes, because we have not. And if I say, see, I have a casco. So can you make a sentence with casco? You can make a English sentence with the word casco. So now I think you would be able to make it better.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what it suggests us that first we need to understand the word. We need to have visual cue or the concrete things to understand first, and then we are able to use it in our expression. Okay. So I think this should be clear with you. And also, see, comprehension and expression comes in each and every step of this stages of development. First of all, of course, we know pre-language skills are very important to develop. Until we develop them fully, completely, child is able to understand or use the pre-language skills, he might not use the next stages so fluently or so meaningfully. Okay. So what do we include in pre-language skill? That is eye contact. That is very, very important, as we know, as Sarika already explained. Eye contact is one area where our children with ASD having difficulty with. So we need to develop that first. Gestures, use of gestures are very important. Sometimes you say, no, we don't want our child to use gestures. We want them to use directly words. But what do you think? See, you must have observed me also. I am also using lot of gestures. If I'm using gestures, my facial expressions, so isn't that better to communicate? Isn't that interesting or more understandable? So these are things very important for each and every person, right? Using body movements or gestures, so that we need to look at first. Auditory skills. Now, auditory skills are not very widely used everywhere, but I'll tell you, this is one thing very important. Because if my child is speaking in single word, now why is he not using two words? Many times I'm talking to him in full sentences, still he's not using two words. Maybe he's not able to remember those two words at that time. That auditory memory is not developed that much. So auditory skills, auditory comprehension, auditory memory, those skills are very, very important. And trust me, through these years, what I have experienced, if you're working on auditory memory, the expansion of the sentences becomes much more easier, much more easier. Okay. And then, of course, we go on to the verbal language, that is using words and then phrases and then sentences and the paragraphs. It goes on, right? Like a regular. Yeah. Previous slide, Sarika. I need to. Previous slide, please. Okay, now the conversations. What do you think? What stage will be the conversation? Can you help me to put that? Huh? Yes, somebody can help me with
So are you
what
talking
stage
for
will
a
be
child in
the
ASD,
conversation.
Dipali? Are you talking for a regular, a
ASD,
neurotypical child or a child in ASD?
ASD, child in ASD and neurotypical, both. See, conversation usually, when do we want to introduce to them? See, we will ask him to speak in words,
Uh,
we will ask him to comprehend words. We will work upon it, right? We have to work upon all these stages for child with ASD also. So when do we introduce conversations
well,
to
when
him?
they can make sentences, or maybe they have
Uh,
thought process, they understand things, and they show interest.
okay, no. Okay, yeah, okay, fine. So, what, according to me, what my experience is, my education says that conversation is present at the pre-language skills also, non-verbal stage also. Sometimes, somebody asks us, like, so I'm communicating, that conversation is made, right, with non-verbal skills also, with facial expressions also. So conversation does not depend on any one step. It has to be carried out on each and every step. So we make sure, whenever, if our child, if my child is non-verbal, still I will make a try to make conversation with him. Maybe I can talk, maybe he can respond it using gestures or body movements, or at least giving an eye contact. So we have to focus on conversation, or target for conversation in each and every step. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now, as we know, we have lockdown situations. Many of us are not able to go to the therapist or seek professional help. And of course, in any case, even though we are attending, we are having some professional help, our child is attending some therapies. Still, as we know, role of the parent and family is so very important. So we have to know, like at home, how can we make our environment stimulating for language development. Many a times I had come in contact with some parents, who they themselves talk very less. So of course, regular typical developing children of these parents, of course, they will have less communication skill initially. Later, of course, once they go to school or meet friends in the society, they will develop. But initial period, we can see, those children are also little shy, little introvert. So why is it? All because of the environment at home. How talkative are your parents, how talkative is your family, or how interactive is your family, that all reflects on the child. Now with children with ASD, children with autism, it is all the more difficult. As we know, regular typical children, they just pick up the language and they learn it themselves. It is an automatic process for them. But children with ASD, it is very effort taking process. They really need to make an effort to learn the language, use the language. So for them, we need more language stimulating environment at home. So first of all, as Sarika has already explained, like they, mostly they engage in their own activities. They don't look at you. They don't pay attention to you. So first of all, when we are talking to them, we are having conversations with them. So we should gain their attention. That is very much important. Okay, gain attention doesn't mean they have to look at us, right? Maybe they don't have that sustainable eye contact, but at least you make sure that they are involved with you. They are listening to you, and they know your presence. You are talking something. So gain their attention, and then create lot of reasons and lot of opportunities to use language. Because our children with ASD, they need lot of opportunity, they need lot of repetitions. What word, see, I explained you the word casco, you learned it in one time, but this is not same with our children. They would need more repetitions, more opportunities to use these words. So we need to be alert that same word. What, suppose I want to teach spoon today, so it's not repetition, I will do it throughout the day, or immediately, okay, this is a spoon, these are two spoons. Get me the spoon. Not at the same
5 minutes reminder, Dipali.
Okay, yeah. So we have to create, throughout the day, we have to space out, or throughout the week, we have to keep in mind that we are going to talk about the spoon, we are going to show the spoon. So by end of the week, at least my child would be able to understand and use the word spoon. Okay, so we have to be very cautious about it. And making, as we saw in the video, what Sarika showed, that story, children are really interested in stories. But some children might not be so interested, but stories and play, mark my word, these are two activities which give you ample of opportunities to learn language. Ample. Some words, some phrases which are not using in everyday life, we get them to learn in through stories or through play activity. So every day, no matter what, at least half an hour you have to take out, doing playtime and story time together. Next, to aid your speech with visual cues. Sometimes it happens, we are talking about something, so child is not getting any cue what are we talking exactly. Initially they would need some visual cue. If we are talking about his birthday party, suppose like last week we had a birthday party that was so much fun, but then maybe he's not remembering that. So you can show a photo of his birthday party and you have to explain about it. Or if you're talking about a thing, suppose you're talking about a car, a toy car is talking. So you have to get a toy car and talk about it. So some visual cue has to be there. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, then of course we can model the language. Parallel talk, you might have read or heard these terms very widely. So modeling is what? Suppose child is saying, do you want water? Many times it happens, children with ASD, they just, whatever you had told, do you want water? So they would remember that. And if they want water, still they will say, do you want water? Actually, they mean to say, I want water. So you can model the correct phrase. Say, I want water, or say, want water. So that is modeling. Or parallel talk. Suppose, how much you are saying, the child is not repeating. That is okay. Leave it to him. Okay, don't force him to repeat at that time. Maybe you can say that many a times in a week, and slowly he will get it. Slowly he would find it comfortable to use it. Okay, then expanding sentences again. Suppose a child is saying one word, using one word, so you have to expand it, but don't expand it to such a long sentence. If he's saying water, the previous slide, please, Sarika. Yeah, suppose he's saying water, then you will not say, oh, I want the cold water from the red bottle in the fridge. That is too long for him to understand or to repeat. So if he is at one word level, you can at least go to the 2 or 3 words sentences the most. Don't go very far. Okay, you have to match the child's level. Suppose he is using one word, so he will be ready to use 2 or 3 words later. So just model these sentences only. And of course, you have to give a pause, you have to put a silence, meaningful silence, so that child is inspired to talk. Sometimes if we say model the language, we do parallel talk. So we only talk. Do you want water? Yes, mama, I want water. Oh no, this is very cold. Or no, this is very warm. So we go on talking, go on talking. We are modeling also for child, and we are also talking ourselves. So sometimes if we feel child will be comfortable using it, so just give a pause, wait. He will not immediately say like us, but if you give some time, slowly he will come up with the words. Okay, and reward, as Sarika said, it is so very important. Motivation or reward. Of course, you don't give reward in terms of some eatables, but at least the pat on the back, or smile, or giving his favorite toy that time to play, something like that. Whatever suits to your child, you can give that reward. Next slide, please. Okay, and the previous slide. Okay, now how do we talk? See, as we know, if you have seen, we suppose we're visiting some baby, how do we talk to the baby, and how do we talk to the the mama of the baby. So if the mama is our friend, so we talk to our friend in normal tone, but when we are talking to baby, our tone changes. Why is it so? I have very limited time, so I won't give you chance to speak. I will only answer. I will do parallel talk for you also. Okay. So why is it that? To gain the child's attention, because children like somebody talking to them in a singer-song manner, or with a nice intonation, or with a sweet voice. So we not try and make change our voice to suit the child's need, or to gain child's attention. So same way we have to do here also. Of course, we don't have to talk very fast, otherwise child will not be able to understand, not be able to retain. So talk little slowly with the child when you are talking. Use repetitions many a times. Suppose one word, spoon, you want to highlight. So whenever you are using, no, throughout the week you make repetitions through a real object, or through pictures, or in TV if some spoon picture comes, anyhow you have to do. Use facial expression and gestures, I have already told you. And adequate words, as I told you, if your child is at one word level, don't talk to him in 2 3 sentences long. Just talk to him in simple short sentences, so it is easier for him to understand and remember.
Dipali Miss, last 1 minute, Dipali Miss.
Yeah, done. I think done. Next. So here we finish almost. Next slide, please. So last but not the least, you have to dream little differently. Use your time and energy wisely. Be positive. Okay, and in short, you have to change yourself if you want to bring out changes in your child. So here I conclude my talk. I hope you must have got some part of it, whatever I wanted to convey. Thank you.
Dipali Miss, I would say it was a lovely sharing. Even, I was glued to what you were saying, irrespective of me being a part of this profession. But the sharing that I think we all got from you was really wonderful. And especially at times where, you need all the, what you say, when we need home remediations and, things to do at home. Your tips of making it visual is so important. So I think definitely including me, the parents might also be benefited with your tips. So thank you so much, Dipali Miss.